Hello everyone. This video is going to go over the basics of creating tables in Access. Part 1 of the Introduction to Access project is about creating tables, adding fields, creating records, and modifying data types and properties. First thing we're going to do is launch Access. And then when we open Access, we're going to start with a blank database. Access requires right away that you create a database, name it, and save it before you can continue on. It's the only application in the Office suite that requires that. So we're going to name this database Customers and then hit Create. And now we have an open Access window. First thing we're going to do is add some fields, field headings to our table. So I'm going to click on the first field. I'm going to say that it's going to be short text, AB short text, and we're going to change the name to last name. The next one is going to be also short text, and we're going to change that name to address. Once we've created the fields for address, city, state, province, postal code, and country region, we're going to save the table. So we'll go up to the Quick Access toolbar, click Save, and immediately Access wants us to name the table itself. So we're going to call this Contact Information, and we're going to click OK. Now we've just created our first database table. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go up to Create, and then we're going to click on Table, and we're creating a new table. I'm going to click on More Fields, and under the Quick Start area, we're going to click on Name, and up will come the first and last name. This is a much quicker way to do the same thing that we did in the previous on the previous table. Now what we're going to do is add a few more field names. So we've added names for item, description, and purchase price. Now what we want to do is save it and name the table orders. So we're going to click the Save button, and we're going to name the table Orders, and then click OK. And now we've just created an Orders table. Now what we're going to do is add some records. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the contact information. You can either navigate using the tabs, or you can go over here to the table and activate the tables that way. First thing I'm going to do is add the last name of Smith, and you'll notice that the table automatically creates an ID of the record 1, and that's known as the primary key. What we're going to do now is fill in the rest of the records that I've specified in step 3. Okay, now that we've entered the records into the database, we want to adjust the fields so everything fits. So we're going to go up between the address and city and just double click that, make sure that those addresses actually fit in the box. Next thing we're going to do is click the Save button in the Quick Access toolbar. And now we've just saved the records. Next thing we're going to do is click the View button up here and go to Design View. You'll notice that the ribbon is changed and the fields appear in the first column and down in the description area, and then in the bottom here we have field properties. Now what we're going to do is from the Design View add some field records as well, or fields. So it's asking us to click on the country one, and we're going to insert an email. So we're going to go up to Insert Rows and Insert Email, and we're going to go up to Last Name and also insert a row, and we're going to put first name, and we're to add a row for birth date underneath the country region field. We're going to click the country region field, and we're going to delete that row. And yes, we want to delete that row. And then we're going to hit Save. Now next to birth date, we have a data type of short text, and what we really want is for that to be a date data type. So we're going to click on the little arrow here and go down to date and time and change that to date and time. We're also going to go down here to the field properties, and if we click on the format, we'll get a little arrow over here that we can drop down, and we're going to change that format to short date. That way the format is correct. Also, for state and province, leave it as a short text, but it has a field size of 255 characters. We only need 2, so we're going to change that to 2. That way someone doesn't add or doesn't have the ability to add more characters and cause problems with our database rendering records later on. Now we're going to go up to the View tab, or View button, and we're going to click Yes to save the table, and we're going to click Yes because it says some data may be lost, and that means basically if we had more data, for instance in the state and province field, like field size item of more than 2, then it would truncate that. So now we've readjusted our table and saved it. Now what we're asked to do is enter for step 6, enter in the following first names, birth date, and email fields. Now we've added the additional fields as well as entered in an additional record. The next thing we need to do is make sure that the columns are wide enough for the email addresses, and again make sure that they're wide enough for the street addresses. This concludes part 1 of the Introduction to Access Database project.